Yeah, what's up everyone, Trau here, and today we continue with the chief bosses in the Continental Challenge. This time we go over Journ, once again, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I do have 3 teams for you. One is 100% free to play and then 2 more teams, but the core team is always the same, 3 heroes that are free to play, so let's go right into it.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go.
Alright guys, welcome to the Journ Continental Challenge boss. First I will explain the arena mechanics, then the boss skills, and then I will show you the teams. So first, for each buff held by the allies, the damage dealt by their ultimate skills is increased by 40% up to 10 stacks counted. Alright, so you want someone who does a lot of buffing, right? There are 2 combos that comes to my mind immediately. They are Radiance and Ice Blast. Oh, you will be surprised. The Ice Blast team is pretty good for this. And then, for each buff held by allies, damage taken is reduced by 10% up to 5 stacks counted. Amazing. Once again, you want a lot of buffs on your team. And lastly, each hero can be deployed once per round. Alright, so now let's go over the boss skills. So for his passive, damage dealt by the hero to targets with a fewer than 5 buff stacks is increased by 50%. Once again, we are leaning heavily on the buffs, so you really want a lot of buffing, right? Then on his battle skill, sprays flames that burns enemies within range 5 times, each dealing the fire damage with 100% chance of inflicting attack penalty 2 for 10 seconds. Disgusting debuff, especially for this, because we want to reach as much damage as possible, right? But there is a positioning, so you can avoid this. You will see, I'm able to avoid this on my DPS, on my main DPS. And then the ultimate deals fire damage to enemies within range with 100% chance to dispel 1 buff from them. So we want some resistance. And there is a free hero that gives you a lot of resistance to everyone actually. Oh, you'll be surprised. That hero is really good for this. So that's the boss skills. Now let's go to my teams. I will start with the free-to-play team first and then I'll show you the better versions. Okay, so here is the 100% free-to-play team and it's the Ice Blast team that is using this rare hero, Roberta, and she does so much damage, you'll be surprised. So let me show you who I'm using. So I'm using Garius, I'm using Ardet, I'm using Voresh, Bladin, and Roberta. And the hero I was talking about that does a lot of resistance for you is Ardet. She's a free hero for the season 2 for this Continental Challenge actually. You need to reach I think 450 points to get her, and she's really good for this boss because she does some really good stuff. I think it's in her passive. After the battle starts, the hero gains 1 stack of Blessing every 5 seconds. This buff is permanent and cannot be dispelled up to 10 stacks. When the hero Blessing reaches 10 stacks, grants 10 stacks of Blessing to all allies. What it does? The Blessing, every stack increases defense by 3% and resistance by 10. So that's 100 resistance for everyone, which is amazing because this way the boss cannot dispel your buffs, right? Which means he cannot do as much damage. So very good hero for this. Let me show you how them built first, and then I will show you the run. So I will start with the Garius. So my Garius has 63k HP, 3.6 defense. You want a lot of defense for his healing. A lot of skill haste as well. I'm focusing on the skill haste on him, so I want him to cast quite often. There's 18 seconds interval. I will show you all the skill timings later on. But the main thing that you want on him is the Gatekeeper staff for this to work. Because this artifact is disgusting on him. It gives him defense and a 60 skill haste, very good. And then 100% of the overheal from the Weaver will equally convert into a shield. And he does one interval or 1 single heal on his ultimate, and it heals for a lot of HP because it's a defense based heal. So you don't care about enlightenment. The only stats on him you care about is the defense, skill haste, 2 stats actually, and some HP for survivability. But the defense is the main thing, and some skill haste to be able to cast in 18 seconds interval. So very important this artifact. If you don't have this artifact, it won't work as good for you. You will have to do some changing for it. And then for the rest of the gear, I'm using the Brotherhood Spirit for him. It gives me defense, and when the Weaver casts an ultimate skill, all allies and elemental damage increase by 15% for 10 seconds. So very good. And then for the shielding, I'm using the Devout Prayer. When the Weaver grants a shield, the target deals 12% more damage for 10 seconds. I think it's working with the Gatekeeper staff because the overheal will turn into shield, which means he's placing shields on you. So this should proc as well, right? The Devout Prayer. Now, let's go to Ardet, the new hero. She has 104k HP, 5.4k defense, and 11 skill haste only. That doesn't matter. And for the gear, I'm using the Ancestor Protection on her. Gives her HP and defense, and decrease the Weaver damage taken by 10%, while 15% of other allies' damage taken is transferred to her. So this way she's helping with the damage mitigation, right? And then on her gear, I'm using the Devout Prayer once again because of the talents. I have this one, the Eternal Insight. Once the ultimate skill fully recharges, grants 5% max HP shield to the ally with the lowest current HP for 5 seconds. So very good. And then you can even go for something like this, the enhanced protection. After every 2 healing skill cast, next heal grants the target a shield equal to the hero 10% max HP for 10 seconds. I went with this round, the Mist Veil. So after healing, grants 10% damage reduction for 5 seconds to the healer targets if they are range units. Which I'm using a lot of range units in here, so I went with the Mist Veil. But you can use something like this, the enhanced protection as well on her. And then for the, for the artifact, I'm using the Solar King Horn. Because when the Weaver heals an ally, increase the ally's damage taken, not taken, but the damage, increase their damage by 5%. For 10 seconds up to 3 stacks. And she does a lot of healing on her ultimate, right? She constantly heals. So, very, very good hero. Now, Voresh. My Voresh is built with 70k HP, 1500 defense, 2.3k attack, 330 accuracy, and 57 skill haste. You want a lot of skill haste as well, because you want him to be able to cast at 18 seconds interval. Right, for me, it's 18.1 seconds, but it's fine because I'm using the Puppeteer Inspiration, as you will see, so he's able to cast at 18 seconds. Now, for his gear, I'm using the Emissary Whisper, gives me accuracy, skill haste, and when the Weaver successfully inflicts a debuff, all allies do 10% more damage for 10 seconds. So very good for the debuffer. And then also I'm using the Fight Poison with Poison. When the Weaver is inflicted with a negative effect, there is a 50% chance of inflicting recharging speed penalty on the inflictor for 5 seconds. Very good for this boss. Now, Blood-In. So my Blood-In is built with 50k HP, 1.7k defense, 5.6k attack. This attack is very important, I will explain. And then some crit rate, crit damage. And I'm using the Puppeteer Inspiration on him. Actually, as well, some skill haste, once again. And then I'm using the Puppeteer Inspiration on him for the accuracy resistance. And when the Weaver casts an ultimate skill, allies of the same element gain 10% ultimate energy. Any target can only gain this effect once 15 seconds. Very good. And then random mythical gear piece for the damage, right? So I went with the blood shade mark, but it doesn't matter. What does matter is this attack, and I will explain a little bit later. So keep it in mind. And the last hero, Roberta, she has 37k HP, 1.4k defense, 5.6k, almost 5.7k attack, 70% crit rate. This is plenty, and then 294 crit damage. This is enough. The 70% crit rate is enough because Ice Blast heroes, as I will show you in here, they have crit rate on them, right? So for the first 5 minutes of battle, the rate of Ice Blast heroes triggering critical hits with basic attack and skills is increased by 30%. And these bosses are 5-minute runs, right? Which means the Ice Blast heroes, every Ice Blast heroes has 30% increased crit rate. Which is why 70% crit rate is all you need for your DPS, right? If you're using this comp. Which is why my Roberta is only built with 70% crit rate and she's critting all the time. So this way I can focus more on attack and the crit damage. For the gear, I'm using all the mythical gears. So I'm using the Chaos Symbiosis. For each ally of the same school present, the Weaver gains 6% increased attack. I'm also using the Imposing Presence. When the Weaver is at 100% HP, damage dealt increased by 25%, which is always, because she's casting after Garius, so Garius will always heal her to 100%, even though she's not even targeted because of the positioning. And then I'm using Strike and Prepare. The Weaver does 3% increased damage to enemies under defense penalty, which is why she always goes after Voresh. And then lastly, Fearless Challenge. The Weaver does 16% increased damage to enemies with max HP higher than the hero by 50%, which this boss does. So now let's go back to attack. So she has 5k, 684 attack, right? And the Blood-In has 5,625 attack, I'm sorry. Which is barely lower than Roberta, but that's all you need, because for this boss, I'm using this blessing, this Wave Breaker, grants 3% attack up to the ally with the highest attack for 30 seconds up to 6 stacks. And you really want this, because Roberta is now the highest attacking champion, or the champion with the highest attack, which means this blessing will go on her, right? And you find, because this team is built with enough survivability, so you don't need the Tidal Surge, you don't need the Ocean Wrath, nothing like that. You can go with the Wave Breaker, and this will boost your damage by a lot. So that's why I'm really focusing on Blood-In to have a little bit lower attack than Roberta, right? Even though he's using the Dawn Pipe Organ, which is boosting your damage, the range hero's damage. But I'm sacrificing a little bit of damage because this boost gives me way more, right? The Wave Breaker. So that's the 100% free-to-play team. And before we start, let me know down below in the comment section, guess right now, before watching the video, how much damage you think this rare hero can do. I bet you're gonna be surprised. So leave a comment down below how much damage you think she will do. And now let's go finally to the run. So I will show you the first minute. The positioning also matters a lot. So if you place your main DPS, if you're using solo DPS, if you place it to one corner, like for example here in the right corner, she is never targeted with the attack penalty. As you see, everybody else is targeted with the attack penalty, but not my DPS. So if you place them like this, like 3 heroes to one side, to the left side, then you're boosting for your DPS next to your DPS, and then your DPS to the opposite corner, she will never be targeted with the attack penalty from this boss, right? So you don't care about her resistance, nothing. I don't know why, I don't know if it's a bug or something, but it never hits her. Like, she's never under attack penalty, which is amazing. And as you see, it's a rare hero that is already doing almost 400k damage per second in this boss. That's insane for a rare hero. Like, I was thinking Ice Blast heroes, they are never that good for the AoE damage, but she actually has AoE on her ultimate, and she's doing crazy amount of damage because of that. I will show you the ultimate later on, but she is very good for this dungeon, like surprisingly good. So now let me skip to the end of the battle, and I will show you the results. Alright guys, we are almost at the end. We have 1 minute and something left to the end of the boss run. And you see Roberta is already doing 450k damage per second. As you see, the wave breaker is stacking on her. There is 6 stacks on her. And she never gets hit with the attack penalty, which is amazing. I'm still surviving. Sometimes your Vorage dies at the last like 20 seconds. So if you want to build him better, build some HP, more HP into him. But usually it survives. It's only rare occasions he dies, which is sucks because then you miss the attack penalty on the boss, stuff like that. But we are doing 135 million damage, almost 140 now. If she casts one more time, it should be around 150 million damage for this team, which is amazing. For one rare hero, solo DPS, being able to do around 150 million damage to this boss is insane. I know that the builds are not the easiest ones to do. There are a lot of like the mythical artifacts, stuff like that. But it's an amazing team, in my opinion, for rare heroes to be able to do this. Also, that reminds me, I forgot to show you the Roberta artifact. She's using the Frost Ice Blast Heroes artifact. I can't remember the name, so let me show you. She is using the Blooms of Prena, something like that. It gives an attack percentage, and when the Weaver consumes Ice Crystal, their next battle skill deals extra 25% damage. Which is fine, but I'm mainly focused, it gives me a lot of attack and a lot of attack percentage, which is perfect, because that way I can do a lot of damage. And she's not doing that much damage through her battle skill, because the battle skill is only shoot 2 projectiles at the enemy, each dealing some core damage and ignores the defense. But the main thing is her ultimate. As you see, is this star-shaped ultimate that hits all 3 of the bosses, the Journ bosses, or Journ, whatever. So she strikes the enemies within range 3 times, each dealing 250% core damage with 75% chance, 75% chance to grant 1 stack of Ice Crystal. So that's why you need Bladden, because Bladden will generate a lot of crystals for you, and then she will do this amount of damage. Which I think is pretty cool, you know, for rare hero to be able to do this. So that was my 100% free-to-play team. Now let me show you the not so much free-to-play team. So what is it? Solo Huberg. That's the same core. As you see, the core team is the same. The Garius, Ardet, and Vorage are the same builds, everything. But for the buffer, the DPS buffer, I don't know how to say it, like someone who supports your DPS, I'm using Alvis. So he's more free-to-play friendly, right? Only one hero that's not free to get is Huberg. So if you only have him, you don't have heroes like, you know, Alton, or heroes like this one, the Laurentil, something like that. You can use Alvis. He's still pretty good because he gives you attack up to the rally with the highest attack for 8 seconds, which is pretty good. This is gonna be Huberg. It's the same deal. You want to build your Huberg with more damage than Alvis. And also he gives you 3% crit rate up as well. So there are 2 more buffs for you, which means more damage, right? So now let's go to the builds. So Alvis, he's using the same build that I was using on Bladden. Just, you know, focusing on attack. So I want a lot of attack, but the attack has to be a little bit lower than your Huberg, because we are using the wave breaker, right? So I'm using the Puppet Inspiration, everything is the same. He has 5,840 attack, sorry. And then my Huberg, he has 5,844, so 4 attack more, which is all you need, okay? He is using the same build as Roberta, pretty much. And then he's using this artifact, the Flute of the King, amazing artifact for this boss, especially for him also. This ultimate skill gains 25% damage bonus each time the Weaver successfully casts Rally. So very good for him, you know, it gives me 40% crit rate and then 335 attack, which is amazing because this way he has 98% crit rate and 277% crit damage. Once again, all the mythical gears on him, same as Roberta. Now, skill timings. So everybody's at 18 seconds. Vorich is at 11 seconds the first cast, then Huberg casts a little bit after him, 12.5 seconds, to give him plenty of time to hit all the 3 hits to land the defense penalty on the boss. So this is this team. Now let me show you the battle. As you see, once again, same positioning, you know, the support for your DPS, one tile left, and then your DPS all the way to the right corner, and then your 3 core heroes on the left side in front. And Huberg is amazing because the more he casts his ultimates, the more damage it will do, you know, it fires more orbs, which means more damage. So he's already at 400k damage per second, but he will get much higher, you will see. So I will skip to the end, once again, so you're not here with the whole round. Alright guys, we are almost at the end, we have 1 minute and 20 seconds left, and we are at 150 million damage already. As you see, Huberg is doing close to 650k damage per second. Especially when he does the ultimate, it always jumps to like 700k damage per second, then it's kind of low, drops a little bit, and then he casts the ultimate again, 700k damage per second. Amazing. This is a solo DPS run. That's like 80% free to play, I would say. You know, Garius, Epic Hero, Vorech, Epic Hero, Always, Epic Hero, and then Ardet, free Legendary Hero, and then Huberg. So all you need is Huberg, and you will be doing 200 million damage. But this is not the best team, you can still improve it. But it's pretty cool, you know, 80% free to play, one Legendary Hero only that can do this amount of damage. So this boss is very difficult, but if you find the right teams, you can do it. You can definitely do 200 million damage. I know it's dependent a little bit, you know, on Legendary Hero, at least one of them for the DPS. But you saw Roberta, a rare hero, and I was able to do around 150 million damage. So that's still pretty good. Imagine if she was like Epic Hero, you know, that will mean more damage, high attack, which means more damage. So this is the 80% free to play team. And now let's go to my main team, that's like 60% free to play, because I sub always and I put in Alton. Same build, focusing on attack, but the attack has to be a little bit lower than Huberg, as you see here. You know, it's a little bit lower, it's 100 attack lower, and you're fine. Once again, I'm using the Property Inspiration on him, the Downpipe Organ, and some random mythical artifact, just to give him enough attack, but not more than Huberg, right? And this team, this is my best team for this dungeon. I'm not sure if this is the, you know, like the best team ever. Probably not. There are nobody is inspired. Everything I'm still using, you know, accessible heroes still, you know, in here. But yeah, let's go to the run. So Alton is amazing because he's boosting the attack percentage. He's Ardent or something like that on his ultimate. And he can give you 5 stacks of this Ardent, which means more damage, you know. Each stack gives you some attack. I'm not sure. It is like 8% or 4% attack. I will put it on the screen right now, but I can't remember it from top of my head. I'm sorry. But yeah, Alton is amazing for this, especially if you want to do like solo DPS. He's good booster for your damage dealer. So I will skip to the end and show you the final results of this team. Alright guys, we're almost at the end. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds left, and you see Huberg is doing over 700k damage per second, like 730, 750, almost 800k when he casts his ultimate, because that always jumps, you know, the damage jumps when he casts, because that's the most damage. Because of the boss, right, the boss mechanics, you know, your ultimate's doing more and more damage based on your buff, stuff like that, so that's why it always jumps like crazy. But this is amazing, like, this team, very good. You can do easily 200 million damage right now. We still have 40 seconds left. We should be able to do around 204, 205 million damage. That's the best I got. I never got over 205 million damage. So, but that's still pretty good, you know. When you reach the 200 million mark, the boss has 80% damage reduction. So after that, you need some crazy teams. You need a lot of inspirations on your hero, stuff like that, to do these, you know, 300 million damage, stuff like that. So, pretty cool team. As you see, 204 million damage. Can he cast? I don't think he can cast once more. So 204 million damage. Pretty good. And don't worry, all these team codes will be in the video descriptions, or maybe I'll put it in a comment as well. You know, I will pin down a comment for this team, the team codes. So there you have it guys, my 3 teams for this Journ boss fight in the Continental Challenge. I hope you found this video helpful, entertaining. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know down below in the comment section what type of teams are you using for this boss. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!